Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I've always been able to consume some great content on here, but never really had the opportunity or enough to say, to be able to put some content out of my own. But now that I do, I'm going to be talking about why I'm withdrawing all of my graduate job applications for the 2021 cycle. Just walk you through the process of how I decided to do that and also how I've done with respect to graduate recruitment so far, as well as like in the past 3 years, and what I think you should be doing. So why am I withdrawing all my graduate job applications? So I think it was about early August when all of the applications started opening up this year, and I sort of made a decision that I wouldn't be applying to all of the firms that I was before, because normally I just apply for all of the different investment banks and all of the different consulting firms. But this time it was very focused with respect to I want to be in a strategy role within a company and to be able to shape that strategy. And I reduced my count down to about 22 applications, I think, something around that. And I've got still about 12, I think, open applications. Well, there's, some could argue that, there's not really a lot more time for graduate job recruitment to end anyways, whether that's in March or June. But really to end the hunt before the hunt ends you. I guess the reason for that is over the summer we launched a really cool company called ReShape Co, and it's really one of the most memorable journeys I've ever been on with respect to supporting SMEs and startups now looking to pivot during the pandemic and just grow despite circumstances around. What was amazing about this journey with ReShape Co was that we were a team of 5 people that I was able to put together at the start, and then we scaled that to about 210 people at its peak, and that was just amazing. And once you go from running a 210 person company to from those kind of mails from your bank MD or your senior partner or whatever it is, it's just a bit disheartening because you don't have as much say in strategy. You're not just shaping strategy, you're not even able to sort of drive it and execute it. So I just felt quite disincentivized by that the whole time, and I was really quite numb to this whole process. And yeah, that's why I'm withdrawing my applications. I want to be driving the strategy of a company. I want to ideate. I want to eliminate like crappy ideas and then execute and then fail fast and learn fast and then just keep going and doing those things in iterations and really just trying to improve something, as opposed to just putting out like a very prehistoric product and hoping that because your brand is huge and you're really big, everything will be fine. And I just didn't find that very value adding, to be very honest. So I also didn't want essentially putting your idea in a pipeline for months and then at the end of it someone else comes and takes credit for it. Great. So I just didn't really want that. Moving on, I think it's important to talk about what goes into this thinking process, right? So a key highlight was my parents' hopes and dreams for me and corporate politics. Yeah. So there's a reason I'm bunching that up. With respect to parents' hopes and dreams for me, I guess, whenever I have a big life-changing decision like this, I do run it by my family. My dad's always seen me as someone who's capable of being a bank CEO or something like that, like 25 years or 20 years down the line, whatever. But I'm just impatient. That's the truth. And maybe that's a problem with me. Maybe that's a problem with our whole generation. But I'm glad that I want to go now and that I want to make things happen now and be calling the shots now. So yeah, it's a bit annoying at first, but I think they've come around to it, to be very honest. And they've been extremely supportive of this whole crowdfunding thing that we're doing, as well as ReShape Co. So it's been a very smooth journey on that context. When you think about corporate politics, really, I've seen them work in these huge financial institutions over the years, and I just don't like the idea of someone else bogging down my progress. I don't like the idea that someone else has such a huge say in whether I'm at the office tomorrow or what my performance evaluation looks like. That's not to say that I don't like to be accountable to anyone, absolutely not. But it's just to say that those kind of things can really make or break someone's career, and I don't want to place my career in the hand of a big financial institution at the moment. Another factor to consider is obviously money and stability. My parents are first generation immigrants, obviously in the UAE, and they came here, they struggled a lot. My dad came from like a village essentially in Kerala, in India, and he scraped his way through and came here, and then really just like fought against all the odds, paved his own path. So maybe he's actually more entrepreneurial than I'm thinking, to be honest. But they struggled so that we could dream, and I will always take that very, very seriously. And I don't want to lose this opportunity when I do have it, to sort of go out there and make a huge difference, make an impact, and do something different and disrupt an industry. What does the future look like, and what's my worst case scenario? So if my fintech fails, which it will not, because I will absolutely, no matter what, will not let that happen. I look at the worst case scenario, right? So compared to any other finance graduate right now, I probably have more experience with software development, brand building, product management than any of those other graduates. So that's my value add. Plus, I trust my savvy networking skills to get me in the door for at least an interview. And I'm certain I can do that, whether that's in the UAE or the UK, and I'm happy to give it a go in both places should everything fail. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I'm very, very determined and resilient and relentless. So but you have to hope, you have to dream. Otherwise, everything's dead from the get-go. You can't have a backup plan to begin with. Or maybe you should. That's more logical. But yeah, these are the things that you juggle with as a young founder. Life lessons. So how have I done with graduate recruitment so far? When I look at the 120 applications I've submitted over the years, and now the 22 that I have this year, I've not really had great success with the huge banks, but I've had opportunities with the local bank in the UAE that I interned with before university, and they essentially converted that into a spring week for me in the UK in my first year. So what do I think you should do? What it really comes back to is 4 questions, right? What is your opportunity cost? Can you recover that cost? If you lose these 2 years, what does that mean for you? And number 2, how far are you willing to go outside of your comfort zone? Because you're not always going to know everything that's going on. In fact, as a young founder, you have no answers and all questions. And I feel like that means that you're constantly learning, and that's the way I see it, but a lot of people can feel out of depth, and that's perfectly normal. Number 3, are you ready to share, the opportunities and challenges ahead with others? Because this isn't a solo journey. I'm sorry, I don't care what your idea is. It's just that if you don't have a team behind you, the timing of the market, then really you don't really succeed. So are you willing to share those opportunities and challenges? And finally, what always gets me is, what do you want to be remembered for? Is it making other people happy? Is it making yourself happy? Is it making a truckload of money? And all of that is perfectly normal, but you got to ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? So yeah, those are a few of the things that I would think about. So I hope that this was useful to everyone considering taking their foot off the application grind and their foot on the entrepreneurship grind. I'm so excited to bring more episodes about founder dynamics, team building, and fundraising, and so much more. So many more challenges and opportunities that we have as young founders today. And yeah, once again, welcome to Joel's Journal.